What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot and Friends. Justin here, and how you feeling? You feeling fired up? The moon's in Aries. I enjoy the moon in Aries. I think that this is a great one. Just after the moon gets out of that dreaminess of Pisces, then it's like to take that dream and just to take that inspiration, just go forward and go do something with it. And in the phase we're in, this is a perfect one. But we'll get into all that here in a moment. But if you are new here, again, my name is Justin, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. But this is also a place where if you happen to have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, maybe Mars, wherever, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based on that lovely luminary, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she goes void. Of course, there's all them lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Yeah, we're feeling good. We're feeling energized. Oh, yeah, and I guess, yeah, we're feeling energized considering what day it is, too. And I'm going to shuffle for your general energy of the day here. But depending on when you're watching this, happy Saturn Day. Saturn is associated with Saturday. And, I find that Saturn days can, I think, be a really great day for... Thanks, Spirit. I think it can be a really great day for confiding in those who you see as kind of like wise, like kind of elders. Maybe this is a grandfather type. Maybe this is or even just like a friend or a family member who just happens to have that sort of like experience of life, no matter what the age is kind of looking like, but to seek any sort of like guidance and things along those lines. But I find Saturn days are really a great day for really kind of cracking down to, even in like Saturn hours, if I've been putting off something and then it happens to get to the hour of Saturn, it's just like, all right, let's go do the laundry, or let's go get this done, or let's go get this paperwork, let's pay this bill, let's do all the Saturnian things so that I can enjoy the rest of this Saturn day. So those are just some things I think when we're talking with Saturn. I think too, Saturn, there is this thing with Saturn that he was a god of agriculture. And I think that working with the land can be a really great way of working with Saturn. Maybe this is you just start like maybe composting, or maybe going up and picking some stuff, like maybe trash around the place, or just something along those lines. I think it'd be a great way of working with the Saturn day to just kind of take in just the appreciation of just time kind of going by as well, just being in that present moment. But another thing too that I like to do with these days is to think about, what is your relationship with Saturn when you're going through a Saturn transit? What house is Saturn going through? Because he stays in there for about 2.5 years at a time, roughly. So, what are your relationship with Saturn? And especially during a day chart, Saturn it's a lot easier to work with than in a night chart. You have to work a little more intentionally with Saturn. So again, what's that looking like? And then where's Saturn at for you? What house is he in? What sign is he in? What is your relationship? I've actually been, especially since getting into like traditional astrology and things, my relationship with Saturn has really kind of grown there. I have a pretty solid Saturn placement considering. So it's something to think about. Even though Saturn's known as the greater malefic, Saturn can bring about great abundance, greater abundance. So yeah, just something to think about with Saturn days. But let's talk about the moon. Because depending on when you're watching this, on the 1st of February, the moon is going to enter into Aries at about 5:10 p.m., and that's going to be Pacific time, and she's in the waxing crescent phase. And one thing that I really like about this, a couple of things with this, is that the moon and Mars, this is another one of those times where the moon and Mars are in mutual reception. So that means that they're in the signs that each other rules, and even though Mars is in his fall in Cancer, that moon can help him out, can kind of guide him through there, because she's in a house that he recognizes. It can kind of help him get out of his feelings and just give him a task. Hey, help me figure out how to... Everyone's trying to fight here in Aries. Like, help me out here. But Aries is the cardinal fire sign. They're masculine in nature, so there's this active force that comes with Aries. And Aries, I think, is one of those really prolific signs, that pure expression of will, that when you have that feeling, that need to just be, to just exist, to do the thing, that Aries is the one that's just going for it. Real initiators, the cardinal energy is that initiator, and Aries is the leader of that, the one to really kind of jump first to this. And I find that when the moon's in this sign, it's a tricky one for I think the moon to be in, but I think that it teaches you to, I think, tap into that sort of like inner will, in a sense, like just to go, when you feel like you want to draw, or that maybe you want to go outside, or you want to go do this, those sort of like, those kind of higher, and of course I'm thinking like higher expression, sort of like impulses and things, that there's something about the unrestrictiveness of Aries, and there's something could be that's very liberating, I think, about that, when we allow ourselves to just kind of be free for a moment, and just kind of, I'm not quite sure how to describe that energy. Just really kind of be in that, just like seizing the day type of energy, I think, is what Aries can really sort of bring in. Knowing that there's the time is now. Why wait to do something? Let's go on that trip. Let's go on this thing. Let's just do the thing. This is, again, there's no time like the present. And then in that waxing crescent phase, I like this for whatever, if you happen to be setting, if there's a theme that you're noticing that you're wanting to change, this could be a very time to get curious about something, instead of like, oh, I want to, instead of like, oh, like talking about the trip, maybe this is just like looking at, okay, what kind of days would I want to take off? Like, what time period would that be? Where do just, or maybe this is if you're going to start like a workout routine, this would be the day, instead of waiting till Sunday or till Monday, do it tomorrow. Depending on when you're watching this. This could be like getting this. Just taking that initiative, taking that next step towards whatever area you're wanting to improve during this lunar cycle here. So, just some things I think to think about with the moon and Aries. I think that can be a very just invigorating type of period of time. But if you're wanting to work with these lunations and things more, maybe you want to get into your lunar return, or get to know your moon placement better. Maybe you happen to have your moon in Aries. Down in the description box below is a link for all the services that I provide, so if that's something that resonates with you, definitely check that out. But let's go ahead and switch over. And then last couple things here. These readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And before we jump into this thing, I'm going to ring this bell here and just bring in some good vibes. So adjust your volume if you need to, but let's get into this thing. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, interesting. This may be a little tougher for Aries. So you have, and we got the sun here. So you have the Seven of Pentacles here. Let me pull that down a little bit. But with the Seven of Pentacles, maybe I'll flip it this way. That's how we'll do that. But with the Seven of Pentacles, I find that this is a card of patience. But I think that there's something here about having been patient maybe long enough, that you've been waiting for this kind of like the opportune, like maybe for all the stars to align, or for something to move. And now with this Aries energy, this could just be a time to take some sort of step here. I'm almost getting even like a sort of like, it's almost like it's either like a practicing, or maybe even like a pretending type of energy. And what I mean by that is like, it's like It's like, let's say if you were to, I'm just thinking about an instrument, for example. If you were to continue to practice a song and play the song, but never do the performance, no one to see your hard work, to see the things that maybe you've invested in here, and maybe because there's a fear of failure, possibly, maybe with the Seven of Pentacles being here. This is the Lord of failure, and but I think the thing with failure, you get feedback with failure. And I think that there is something to even look at the word failure, because I think it can evoke such a feeling, such a response, but really it's just the outcome that you expected isn't quite what you expected. And that's not really a harsh thing. It's just like, oh, I thought this was going to be better. Okay, next time I know to do this and that, and that's going to get better. And then you know how to invest in things a bit more. You get that, but you don't know these things until you try something here. So that's something. And that waiting felt a little, something felt even hesitant when I was saying that being patient here. But let's get some tarot on this and get a better picture of this story here. Oh, interesting. Thanks, Spirit. So you got the Two of Wands here. And the thing with this Two of Wands, this is one of Aries cards here. This is Mars and Aries, the Two of Wands. And I think that there's been this sort of oscillating on whether you should do something, whether you shouldn't do something. And it feels like that the time is now to make a choice. Like, do you want to continue to stay stagnant, or are we ready to get the ball rolling here? Is what I'm kind of getting with this Two of Wands. Let me get a little bit more on this, because yeah, that's as Mars and Aries as it comes. Ooh! Thanks, Spirit. This is getting aggressive. You got the Tower here, Mars. So I think that there's, maybe there was I'm even getting maybe for some that maybe there was a misstep that happened. Maybe it was like, maybe an impulsive move was made here. And maybe that's where where I initially was getting that patience. That might be something else. If you've just gotten in a situation, it was just from maybe a reactive thing. Mars is in Cancer, so maybe there was something where it just like got caught up in a moment or something along, made some sort of decision, and now it's like I'm almost even getting like when is the situation gonna be better? I don't think that this Tower is like a chastising type of thing. I think that there's something in like maybe being in the transitory picture, or like the transition phase of it. Maybe this was like, I'm just saying, just for an example, maybe this was a divorce, or maybe this was, the Seven of Pentacles, maybe it's like an eviction, or maybe it's a job loss, or maybe it was you choosing to leave a job, or leave whatever this thing. Maybe I'm even getting like a challenge of like faith here, maybe even possibly kind of coming through, but I'm getting like, I think with the one thing to think about with the Pentacle cards is, especially if you're going through something that has you maybe feeling a bit ungrounded, to find moments to get in touch with the body, to just remember that like, hey, I'm here. We're figuring this thing out. Like it's a moment at a time. Like we're getting our bearings right now. But there's always a higher truth in the Tower, and I think that there's something where even what may seem like a tough situation could really be almost like I was listening to something that was talking about the Tower, and like the Tower is almost being like an act of mercy, even when you thought about like how people were building up to God, and like they destroyed the Tower and kept us from, divided the languages and things in order to help us get back in touch with the earth. You know, I just think that there's something there in that to just seeing a situation, this Eye of Shiva, the destruction for what it is. You know, something had to change here. And I'm also being kind of drawn to the mouth spewing this fire. This tower's a bit intense, you know, but I think that, okay, there we go. That's a better way to put it. But I think that there's something too about not letting the, something about not letting the will or letting the words get out of hand, not just spewing fire and all of these things. Like, I understand a situation cannot be, you know, ideal, but I think that just getting caught up in a storm, you know, in a word storm, I think can usually just kind of exacerbates a problem. So just another thing to think about there. But let's get some more on this. Ooh, what is happening? Thanks, Spirit. So you got the death card here, and it's interesting because that's another. You have a lot of martial energy out here. That's what's so really fascinating in these cards here, because Scorpio is one of the signs that Mars rules. And so there's some changes that are happening right now. Again, like I said, it's like we feel, it seems like it's like you're in the sort of transition period right now. But this is not meant for you to lose energy right now. I think that there's something that's changing. That's you know, you're alchemizing something to here. that definitely meant to come out a little more graceful, but I'm getting like for some, there's this energy of like a time is now to make a shift. You know, this is one of those kind of like pivotal sort of moments here, where it's not reactive. You know, something that is like, okay, like, hey, maybe there's a tough conversation that's needed to be had. Maybe there's something where like an addiction is needing to change, and maybe yourself, maybe in another person, but let me get a clarifier with this death card. Interesting. Spirit. So you have the Hermit here. And so I think there's something about reflecting, one, on where things are going, but also what's going to, I think just something about what's going to be achieved. How maybe some short-term, maybe, you know, tumult or maybe even chaos. Maybe it may feel like it's what's coming up, but in these changes, the transformation process can sometimes, I think, can feel a little messy, can feel a little, you're just disorganized in things, but there's something greater that's happening here with the sun that's happening in this Hermit here. I think it's giving you an opportunity for you to even, maybe even possibly not be so bottled up. I'm even getting for some, like allowing your light to really kind of shine through there, allowing a new you to come through there, where maybe in the past it has just been like just kind of going along, just waiting for the changes with the Seven of Pentacles. But now it's time for you to seize these changes. While this martial energy is hot there, and the Hermit Virgo is gonna know how to move in the earthly realm, is gonna know how to react in that, and to make the most of a situation. But I do think too that Virgo does, when we're going within, like just making sure to take care of the body, I think is another thing as well. Just like those, a lot of signals come from there. Let's get another one on this. Yeah, you got a lot of, like, I think a lot of spiritual kind of intervention, or at least there's, and maybe even just some confusion going on here. You got the Moon card here, and so I think that this, you know, things may end up being in sort of this kind of confusing time. The Moon card is a quiet card, one of my cards to really pay attention what is coming on with Nitu, what's moving beneath the surface. This is Pisces, opposite end of Virgo here. This is where the nodes are at right now, depending on when you're watching this, the north and the south node. So there may even be some themes that could be coming up in that, seeing where Mars is transiting for you, like what house that's even coming up in. That might be something where the change is needing to happen with this death card. But the moon can be a confusing time in this one, where you really need to trust your intuition, trust your inner guidance, because sometimes that's where when you're able to find that peace within, then you can get that outside of yourself as well. You just things just start moving. Let's get a clarifier for this moon. I'm with it. Thank you, Spirit. So you got the Prince of Disc here. And the Prince of Disc, this is taking your time with this thing. Like there's a being, I know I just said this, like there's this mix where it's like, it's time to, we're taking this move, but it's like we're being methodical about the process. But I think that there just needs to, that Two of Wands was giving me a need to just spark something up. And then as you go along this thing, you start to get a rhythm. I think with the Prince of Disc here, he's all about, yeah, he's a little worried about things maybe going awry. Am I going to succeed? Is this going to, how's this going to go? But he's going to see it through to completion, you know, with the Prince of Disc here. And this is something where I'm getting a very independent thing from him too. This is like, yes, you're going to have people to help you along with this thing, but there is a knowing that you're not as helpless as you think, you know, if that's something that you may be feeling, you know, that you have the tools to persevere through this thing. As you see here, Taurus is a very important, a very dominant theme in this princely knight, or princely knight, you know, he's the prince or knight of Disc. But and I think there's even something too, yeah, I think there's even something too in working with the intuition in a different way. I think that's interesting with the moon to the or the Prince of Disc to the moon. I think putting the intuition to practical application, to letting the signals become, yeah, just more clear. You know, just opening, just being more receptive. And in that receptivity, then you know what actions to take. Let's get some advice from Mars. Thanks, Spirit. All right, so you have the Four of Swords here. And I think the advice with Mars, there's something about an acceptance here with the one thing with this card. And almost like making peace with the changes, with the wheel how it's turning, and knowing that you're always going to balance things out, that you're going to get it to where you need to do, and just taking time to observe your energy as you're going through these challenges. There may be times where you notice that you're needing a bit more food, and maybe make sure you're getting a lot more hearty foods and the kind of healthier foods, if that's something that resonates. Or I'm even getting that, more rest may be in the cards for, well, I mean, it is with the Four of Swords being here, but it may be something that is like, maybe whatever you're getting, maybe add on an hour, maybe half an hour if you depending on how time, or maybe it's going to bed half an hour earlier, whatever that might be looking like. But just any sort of ways that you can allow your body some time to recover through this, because this is a lot on the physical body and emotional aspects of it as well, even getting 2 of the 3 water cards. So let's get a clarifier for this Four of Swords, yeah? Lovely. That's a nice little ending on that. Thanks, Spirit. So you got the Nine of Cups here. Card of happiness. And let's go ahead and switch back over. Love that. We started off, quite aggressive. But, we took actions. And it took courage. That's something with Mars. That Mars brings about the bravery in us. And the bravery to go towards your happiness. To not just have the wish, but to see the wish through. Like when the signs say, like, hey, it's like let's move this thing along. Like, okay, bet, Spirit. Like I'm here for it. And that Prince of Disc, he's moving slow, but he's paying attention to the signs. He's like he sees the patterns. He recognizes the path here. In that even maybe in a passive mode, there are things that are still getting accomplished. Even that's something that's even kind of coming up there. So I think that's all I got for you. So a little something to think about. But if you like that, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know somebody who could get some nuggets of wisdom for this. And subscribe to UTower coming in hot. Hit that bell button to get notified when I release videos each day. And then I'm going to shuffle for surprise cards here. But if you want to know what is going on with the other celestial bodies, down in the description box is a link for my other channel, Alchemist 8, where I do just that. And also do different planetary videos talking about different signs and different houses in... Yeah, that's it. Different planets, different signs, different houses. So if that's something that fascinates you as well, that's all down in the description box below. But yeah, thanks, Spirit. Let's go ahead and get to your... I like that. Get to your surprise card here, which is a card of protection. So that's lovely through this storm here, knowing that you are protected. In this, there is a lot of, it seems like a lot of, when you get like a majors, spilling in through here, that there is a lot of spiritual intervention going on in the mix, that Spirit's helping you make moves. You're co-creating with Spirit right now, that there is that the channel's open, and it's open in a way that you can really get some hot creation going on there. Make some things, realize them for yourself. So I think that there's this protection is not just thinking about, okay, how this may fail, but how this is going to succeed. And preparing for that, like, man, this, you're like, sure, like, things may not go as you plan, but this may also go very well. And am I going to be ready for that? Like, the changes that may come with that as well. So that's something I think to even think about there. But yeah, look at you, divinely protected. I'm with it. I think that's all I got for you. So until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep eyes on that moon. And I will catch you. About perfect. On the next one, Moon Day.